Hello everyone, welcome to The Slice, a podcast that is focused on elevating the wealth of Africans globally and is brought to you by Kebo. My name is Toby David and I'm here with Jam.
Hello everyone, how's everyone doing today? I'm sure you guys enjoyed our first episode. Today's episode is about to be mind-blowing. Yes. So Toby, what are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about the almighty, okay, it's not almighty, the mighty.
You can never be almighty.
You can never be almighty. Well, we are talking about Sapa, the well-known Sapa. If you are a Nigerian, you should know what Sapa is all about.
So what exactly is Sapa? Like, what does that mean?
I think
For the non-Nigerian people that probably
okay, so I'm trying to find the dictionary definition for Sapa, but it is a term used in Nigerian. I don't know how to pronounce this word. Correct me if I'm wrong. Colloquialism. I don't, but it's a term used in Nigerian street language.
It's a slang.
It's a slang. Thank you. That is used to describe a state of being extremely broke. Or poor, usually after spending extravagantly. So let's say a period where you've had a lot of money and you just blew the, let's say at the end of the month now, where your salary just came in, or one or two side hustles you have going on, the money just came in, and then in that period, everything calls onto you. The food on the street, the vendor on Instagram, everything just calls, and you just notice that in like 1 or 2 weeks, they're just back to being broke again.
I mean,
so
that's like it's. I'm sure a lot of Nigerians can relate, because Sapa is essentially lack of money. It could be for a short period of time, or it could also be for like a prolonged period of time. It's just like an extreme form of brokenness. Like broke means like you're tush chicken. You have maybe like you have some spare cash that you can still buy food. Sapa means that you're wondering if you would survive the day or the next week with the current account balance you have. So like I think that's pretty like the definition of it. And a lot of people, I don't know if you heard that song, adulthood now.
Adulthood now.
That scam.
Yeah, I know the code. I don't know the song.
You should listen to it, because I feel like that's pretty much what everybody faces at some point, whereby like you're earning this amount, and all of a sudden it's like a week or two into, you just got your salary maybe on the 25th or 30th, and maybe the second week of the next month, like the money have gone into half, and like
yes, where did the money
where did the money go to?
Yes.
And I think today's episode is basically, we are going to like dissect how that happens, how to avoid it, and what necessary steps should we take, like, and it's something that all of us can obviously relate to. So like, how to blow your salary in 1 week. Let's start with that.
Yes. But just before we get into that, one thing that I've come to realize is that Sapa is in our system. It's a systemic something.
Yeah.
The reason why I say so is because Nigerian pay structure is in such a way that you only get paid. I'm not saying that this applies to everyone, because there are freelancers here. We have people that are into content creation. We have people that maybe do fashion designing, so they are paid per job, contract work. But the majority of the people who work 9 to 5 or 8 to 6 or no, they earn once a month, and that is at the end of the month.
Yeah. So
there's a lot of things that have gone before that ending of. You have seen things during the month. You have taken screenshots during the month of shoes you want to buy. You have saved stuff in your cart on online shopping malls and all that. So immediately the money comes, it's almost like it has assignments. So immediately the money comes, because throughout the whole month you have not received any money.
Yeah.
So you just been waiting. Let this 30th come. Let this 30th come. That jeans I want to buy. That shirt I want to buy. Everything. So once the money lands like this,
half of it has
gone. So you already spent. You have spent, let's say, like half of the money already without it even being there. So it's just in the system, and it's not something where we can say, oh, let's change the Nigerian payment structure, because that one will have to be on a federal scale.
Yeah.
So if you're not going to change the system, the best thing you can do is to what? Adjust to it. So that's
just to this point, like there was a fintech founder on Twitter that mentioned this, that the best way to the way he thinks, he doesn't agree with the normal structure of payments.
Okay.
So he was saying that the best way to sort of manage money and, will I say, cash management for most people is, what if we start paying people every two weeks in Nigeria? So your money, even though let's say you earn, I don't know, 100k for example in a month, we pay you every 2 weeks, so twice a month you get 50k instead of waiting for the whole money at the end of the month. I don't know what you think about that. Like in a nutshell of things, would that make the person much more will I say disciplined in managing the money, or will it make the person much more like, I have money coming in next week?
Yeah,
that is that.
I understand. And this is already something that is done in other parts of the world. Like America, I can't say for all the jobs, but majority of people are paid either every week or every 2 weeks. Yeah. So their money comes in, you say, okay, if I'm not getting money now, I'm cashing my paycheck next week Friday. Exactly. Do you understand? Personally, I believe that it helps you plan better. Okay. Just because in a whole month, a whole lot of things happen. It is 4 weeks, 30 days. So if you have that money coming in 2 weeks, it just helps you like, oh, I can chill on this because I know that money is coming in next week. Then it also like spaces your spending.
Yeah.
On like when, okay, you have to wait for the entire 30 days to expire.
And plus the money now looks smaller. So if you like have 50k, your brain is thinking, do I really need to buy this shoe with this money? Because I have to eat tomorrow. But let's say you have the whole money down. You'll be like, I still have enough money. Let me just make this spending and go through with it. I think,
what about you? What do you think about
it? I think it's something to try.
Any 2 weeks.
Like, I don't know if anyone is listening and you think it's something you can try, you guys can give us a hint on how it works out.
How it
works out for you. If it works out for you, I'm on board with it. Because I think it's something interesting to just try out. Another thing that doesn't even make sense, and I know that paying rent monthly is fine, but like another thing that doesn't make sense is paying rent yearly. Like how people, like, because when I was talking to someone, some guys in the US and another like Australia, they find it like
absurd.
Yes, like it's a foreign thing. Like how do you make that much money to pay for 1 year at once? Nigeria, people try.
That's true. And it's also a lot of commitment because you don't know what happens during the year.
Like it's a crazy thing, but again, I think it's always going to be like there are certain payment structures that we sort of need to modify as we go along. But that is aside the whole thing. But okay, let's go back to how do you blow your money in a week? Because it seems like that's what really happens. Like that's like you give your money, you've already paid half of it. So can we like break that down? How does that happen?
So blowing your money in 1 week, money is very easy to spend, very hard to make.
Yeah.
Especially in this cashless society that we're in now. It's almost like a transfer. You do transfer, like if you're holding the money in cash, it feels bigger. But now Uber guy will just tell you your money is 6k. You just be like, okay, what's your account number? Bam, completed. Just about to do the verifier and all that. Yeah. So it's easier for money to go now. So the reason why we need to talk about how to blow your money in 1 week, it reminds me of one book I saw. This was years ago. I saw it was a jam book, and the name of the book was How to Fail Jam. I think it was How to Fail, like it was a series.
That didn't work against the guy.
It was a series, How to Fail Jam, and he made it like per section. How to fail jam English, how to fail jam mathematics. So it got me really surprised. It wasn't my book, but I saw you so I picked up the book and I looked through it and I was like, this thing actually makes sense, because telling someone how to like fail is actually going to give them an idea of what not to do. So that's why it's not that we want you to be broke or anything. So how to blow your salary in 1 week. So I think we should just take turns. So I'll say one, then say one. I think eating outside, especially in Nigeria, that one is constant key, because making food at home. In other countries, there might be there's always the conversation of is it cheaper to eat outside or to. But
In
for
some
Nigeria,
countries, it's actually cheaper to eat outside.
but in Nigeria, that's not the case. How much is kilo of chicken outside? How much will what's the name of these people? Let's not even go far. Let's go somewhere close. Kilimanjaro. What's the name of this? Chicken Republic. How much will the place charge you for chicken? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in Nigeria, that one is a constant. It's not even a debate. Eating outside is way more expensive than eating at home. Then another thing, people might come up with the whole, but it's there for social interaction, entertainment value.
Yeah.
But so the thing is that you can eat outside, but the problem is when you make it that you're eating outside 4 times in a week.
Yeah.
Because the thing about Lagos and the way Lagos or even Nigeria is designed is that anytime you step out,
Thank you.
it's tanky.
Just like.
It's tanky. Like you just put your leg outside your door. Wow.
Like
Tanky has
that's
gone.
the Uber. That's just the You've not eaten food yet.
You've not eaten food. You have not done it. Immediately you step out, tanky is gone. That's gone. So that's just the way, because you have to calculate transport getting there, eating there, coming back, and that is irrespective of whether it's your car or it's Uber.
Yeah.
So either way you look at it, it's a lot of money that goes into eating out. Unless your definition of eating out is booker. And if maybe there's
That's
one.
not eating
yeah,
outside.
Yeah, that's not eating out. That was eating locally.
Eating locally.
So
I mean, I'm so on point with that, like eating outside, because I have decided that the month of June, yeah,
okay.
because this is June, right? Are we in June?
Yes, we're in June.
What was the month before June?
May, June.
May. I swear, I went out like 5 to 6 times, and I felt it. I felt it every single time. And that's
Is it general going out like cinemas or just like
like to just go out and eat with friends, or just go out and meet someone and talk over lunch or dinner and stuff, or go to a bar and stuff and chill. The idea is that I felt choked, like literally choked, going towards the end of the month, and I was like, what's going on? Like, what's going on? And I made it. I just said, you know what? This month of June, yeah, I'm not going out.
At all.
Like, I'm not, if you say come, I said no. I'm not going out. And the thing about it is that I feel relaxed. Like, and I know it's my own is quite extreme for most people.
Yeah.
But this is just me telling, like, you don't have to go out. I'm just saying, like, you don't have, you'll be fine. You can pace it like, okay, this month I'm not going out. Next month I can go out. Do you get?
Yes.
Or like, I feel less choked, that I feel like I have more dispensable income than before to make expenses. Like this month, it was easier for me to just say, yeah, oh yeah, let me just transfer this money, because I have no plans of going out. That money was just kept aside. So I feel like that is like spot on, like controlling the amount of times you go out, and people need to learn how to say no to certain things. Like, unless someone is paying for you, sure.
Yeah.
But this is for guys. I know, guys, anytime we go out to spend money, even if it's not on yourself, you can spend money on someone else. So, like for guys, just girls, they have a special gift of going out and not spending much money.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that's number 1. I think number 2 is black tax. We've not spoken a lot about black tax, but like for most people that don't understand it, it's basically like money you send back home. Like that's the basic definition of black tax. The money you basically send back to your family. And we're in a culture where like a lot of people, or we're in a culture where we're coming from, we always strive to be better than our parents, right? We have more opportunities than our parents now. You know, we are open to the global economy. Our parents didn't have access to investing in cryptocurrency, in stock markets, in real estate. But everyone right now can actually like do that from their phone. Our parents didn't have access to working for someone in Germany without thinking of traveling to Germany.
That's true.
So like the gig economy has actually opened up. Like someone can just use his car. He can be going to work and pick someone up, you know, and still going to the same work and earn from it. So right now we're open to those opportunities, and there's always like a sense of obligation to sort of make sure that you send something back home. That's why a lot of the money, the foreign direct investments, the dollars that we get into Nigeria from outside abroad, from the diaspora, and are going into like their families here.
Yes.
And that money is used for spending. It's not even investment. They just want to buy food.
Yes.
So like, even here, like some people come to Lagos, try to build something for themselves, but they're always like, I need to send something back home. I need to send something back home. And it's natural, it's normal, but like, it's not a bad thing. I think most people try to, I don't know why it looks weird to say black tax, because I think tag like that is obviously going to look very bad and unhealthy for like someone's financial. But like, we're in a society where like it's important to actually give back because you know where you're coming from. You just have to, right? The only issue where people have, the only issue that people have around it is that like you don't know when to say no, or you don't try and think of avenues to make other people start building wealth or start creating other sources of income. That it's only like you're just like handing out dollars every month, right? So I noticed someone last year, was a fintech founder. He basically said, at the end of last year, he said that I took myself out of black tax. That was his accomplishment. Like he just said, you know what? I'm going to set up something for my parents. I'm going to set up something for my siblings. They're going to work for the money, and they're not going to disturb me ever again. And that just liberated him, right? So that's like an extreme form of it. For most of us, all you have to do is sort of say, you know what, I don't want to kill myself because I also have to build something for myself. Yes. I'm going to give as much as I can that is within my boundary. Just plan for it. Not everything you should be jumping off the hills for, because like, you have to take care of yourself as well.
You just have to establish those limits.
Yeah, you have to.
With the people expecting the money that, okay, this is the money that is coming.
Do you want me to die or not?
Yeah, you want me to die or not? If you're expecting more, it's not me that's going to give you.
Exactly,
okay,
exactly.
I understand.
Then, if possible, try and create, at least plant seeds of making sure that there is some level of cash flow coming in. So whether it's maybe your siblings, thinking around and making sure that they're doing something extra to sort of earn from it and keep so that even your parents are not disturbing them, or they are not so much pressure to take care of them anymore, or you're providing an avenue for even your parents to be earning something as well without you even bothering about yourself. So these are like the realities of like the African person, regardless of whether that you're in the US or anywhere.
Whether you're even here.
You're here even in Nigeria. So, what other things do you think can
help you blow
your money
more week? So it's 2 in 1. So I'll just talk about one, but it's like 2 in 1. So impulse buying.
Yeah.
Impulse buying. So impulse buying is basically buying on impulse. It means that once you feel the need to buy, you buy.
Yeah.
And it happens for anything and everything. Maybe you're passing by and you see like spaghetti on the street, something like that. You really just pass it like impulse, you just buy it. Or you pass by a boutique and you see a very nice sweatshirt in the show glass. You just get inside. How much is it? 30k. Oh yeah, give me. And then you just buy. So impulse buying is and the thing about impulse buying is that you don't really track it. It's just that what's this very popular quote? This life I can't kill myself. So I can't kill myself once, twice, 3 times. Before you know it, you're dying. Before you know it, it's you that's killing yourself. So impulse buying is something you have to be very, very, very cautious about. But we have not gotten into the solution part. So yes, if you want to blow your money, anything, once you feel like buying something, you buy it. If it looks good on Instagram, you message the vendor, you order it. If it looks good on, what else is there, Jumia, you buy it. So impulse buy.
The thing about impulse buying, because I was talking to someone, I feel like there are 2 core things that leads to this impulse buying. There is the behavioral part of it, where like people seem to have a certain type of spending habits that requires them to constantly feel satisfied every single moment. Like they just want to be satisfied. They don't care about any other thing. What will kill me will kill me later in the future. So there is that behavioral aspect of it. There is also the aspect of your finances. So when certain people would obviously feel like because constant capital or cash flow is coming in as often as they would like, there is this certain need to obviously spend it because it's just flowing.
Yes.
That's when you see that people that, let me give an example. Yahoo boys, for example.
Okay.
When they blow, they quote blow.
Yeah.
There's this need to just like, and the thing is that the money is coming.
Yes.
There's this need to just spend it. If you get, and not even about that. Like if someone is earning a reasonable amount of money within a month, and the expenses, maybe the person's expenses was not so much before. When that money comes in, there is this tendency. It's just a tendency.
Lifestyle inflation.
Just lifestyle inflation.
Lifestyle. That's
For people that don't know what lifestyle inflation is, it's like when your money just
when you're earning let's say 50k.
Yes.
And 4k data plan was looking like that was even let's say 5,000 naira jeans.
Yes.
Was looking okay. But suddenly you started earning 100k and you started looking at 5,000. I can't be wearing 5,000 naira jeans now. I can't be. I can't. But meanwhile, it was you that was chasing the 5,000 naira jeans. So that's just lifestyle inflation. But
like the annoying thing about lifestyle inflation is that you have to. Some people don't recognize it until it's too late. Like it's just so. People should like lifestyle inflation again. The term is that as your income increases, your expenses almost increase at the same level. Like it's just matching up. It's like, oh, my money increased by 100% and my expense also increased by. It doesn't really make sense. It doesn't have to like increase in the same way. But like, I think that's one of the two main areas that there's a behavioral part of it that I think platforms like saving platforms have actually helped a lot of people sort of build that culture. There's also the spending money, which is I feel like it's a normal thing when you've seen the money come in and your expenses was like 10%. All of a sudden the money is like 100%. And you're like, or more, and the money is consistently coming. And when that money consistently comes in, it's a crazy thing because you just feel like I have money, I can do it. Yeah. You get. So I feel like that's like a very big influence on it. But like, how do we even stay in line with all of this? Like, how do we sort of help people combat, the different elements of SAPA? What would be the first thing someone would have to do to sort of say, do you know what? I'm earning this. I don't want to see how, like, in a week my money is gone. Like half of it is gone. How do I sort of navigate around it and make sure that something is working out for me from like a financial standpoint?
Okay, so I think all of us, everyone knows the answer for this, like the default answer, that's budgeting. But the thing about budgeting, okay, let me just do first on budgeting, then before I go into the thing about budgeting. So budgeting simply is that, okay, you're allocating money for different areas of your expenses. So you're allocating money for different areas of your expenses. So what that means that when the money comes, let's say you're earning 100, let's say you're earning 100k, you've already budgeted that, okay, I'm only going to spend 30k on food this month, or I'm going to spend 10k on fuel, and no matter what, it's not going to go past this boundary. That is very important because if you don't plan with money has a way of just leaving your hand. We are in an age where most of our stuff is cashless, so to a certain extent it's good because you can still go to your bank app and see, okay, minus this one is red, this one is the bank app I use, it shows red for debit and green for credit. So you can still in a way still see it, but at the end but still you still have to make sure that everything is budgeted for. Now in line with what I was saying before, I was talking about for the thing about budgeting is that for some people, just because, especially if, and this is a very common case for Nigerians, they came from a place of they were not having money before,
yeah.
So now they are having money, yeah. And the thing about people that were not earning money like serious money before, and now they are earning serious money. Is that you just want to blow.
Yeah.
That's why if you go, I don't want to mention names because I was thinking of a particular artist. But if you pick any,
mention the name. They're not beat us.
It's just like, for example, you pick someone like Portable now.
Oh my goodness.
Please,
I live in the trenches.
You pick someone like I don't know if Portable was living in Lekki or Aja or something, but I want to believe that he had humble beginnings. If you pick someone like that and you give him some kind of money, the first thing on his mind is just what can I buy? Because he's coming from a place of lack. And that's the case for most of us Nigerians. We didn't grow up with like many cars in the house or many clothes. So now that you have the money to buy clothes, in your mind it's just like all those things I didn't have before. Let me just get them. So the thing about budgeting is that for some people they struggle, especially if that's your case where before you could not afford so much, but now you can afford so much. So the best thing for people, I believe that the best thing for people that struggle with budgeting is that once the money comes, throw it somewhere. Throw a percentage of it. There's a term for it. Pay yourself first. PYF. Pay yourself first. So once the money comes, let's say that 100k comes, you want to save, let's say 40k, or let's be realistic, 20 to 30k every month. Just carry that 30k, throw it inside one bank account you know that you don't touch like that. Or the bank account you know you don't have card for. You just throw it there. So once you throw it there, the remaining 70k, you blow it. And you make sure that no matter how bad it gets, you're not going to touch that 30k. So then from that 30k, you can also have, so I think it's a thing of growth. That's the thing about finances. So when you first get that money, when you trade, you can just be like, oh, this is savings or emergency fund. But as time goes, you now begin to evolve. So you can now like manage yourself better and now be like, okay, let me take 40k out instead of 30. And out of that 40k, I'm using 20k for investments, using 20k for savings. That is growth, meaning that you're moving from a place of savings and investment. Meanwhile, you still have the money that you set aside to spend any which way. So that I think, that would be a better strategy for people who struggle with budgeting, because as much as you want to hammer budgets into people's heads, they cannot control themselves. Because it's not you that will hold your hand on the bank app. Whatever they want to do, like they'll say on Twitter, no be you go tell me what is doing my money. And
the thing about it is that I know several platforms, even fintech platforms, would always say, and even financial advisors will always say, oh, do the 20, 30, 50 kind of model. And the thing I've noticed with most Nigerians that they don't even bother. Like it's always so difficult to pull through. What you just gave is literally like the first will be like the first most practical thing for any Nigerian to do, right? The practical thing is to pay yourself first, and what that means is that you should not buy shawarma for yourself. What it means is that you should set aside money that you are focused on saving or you're focused on investing, right? And just keep that money for it to build interest for yourself, right? We're going to talk about where that money should go to in some other episode. But like the idea is that if there's any takeaway from all of this to avoid SAPA in any way, is that everybody should start planning a framework or a model that would let them say, do you know what? Out of every money that I earn as a person, wherever it's coming from, if I have 100 jobs, if I have 5,000 jobs, great. You know, the best way for me to actually like avoid any extreme brokenness whatsoever is to see how I can set aside a little bit of money that would actually pay me in the future, right? I think that's number one for me. I think the second thing for me is that people should actually see how, and I know it's the most obvious thing for like, this is pretty much the most obvious advice anyone can take. It's just to earn more.
Yes, that's very true.
Like, if you're not comfortable with what you're earning now, and if you're not deriving any value from it, the best thing is how do I level up to become that person that earns more? Do you get? What kind of skills do I need to acquire in the next few months? What kind of I was listening to someone that the person's framework was that if you wanted to start earning $5,000 a month, you shouldn't start by applying for $5,000 worth of jobs next month. You should say, what kind of person would be able to earn that kind of money? How do I network with that person? What kind of skills are available for me to learn within that period that will be worth that kind of money? And what kind of firms will be able to afford that payment? And when you like break that thing down, it's usually like a 6 to 12 month plan. You get?
Yeah.
Like people like rush into it, but like if you decide that, oh, I want to learn, keep an example, the loudest people on Twitter are UI UX.
UI UX. Everybody knows UI UX.
I'm so sorry, guys. But like, the idea is that anyone will just say start today and just start copying platforms and start creating case studies around it. Great, fantastic, right? And in 2 months or 3 months, they're already like shouting.
Yeah.
And it's great. But like, the idea is that if these skills take a lot of time for you to perfect, and a lot of them have a lot of expectation when it comes to pay, you get? They have a lot of expectations, but they don't even have a lot of experience to back it up.
True.
So like, when people are thinking of, oh, what kind of jobs are open for me to earn more, or what kind of side hustles are available, I think the best approach is to actually like have a plan for it and say, okay, if I'm going to be earning this in the next few months, I need to actually acquire those skills as quickly as possible. And that means that you have to be investing in yourself as frequent as possible.
That's true.
Like, how much are you investing? So that amounts, you're saying, you then
I think you should break down the investing yourself, because when we hear invest, it's a very bogus term. So
yeah.
Like what
is investing in yourself?
Like the practical number 1, number 2, number 3. So
I think earlier last year I decided that I wouldn't be saving. I know it's crazy, but like I said, you know what? Every amount I earn, I'll set aside a particular amount to, saving, to investing, right?
So you're not saving at all, just investing?
I was not saving at all. You get?
So you're paying
that
yourself
was a strategy.
First was just for investment,
yeah,
not for savings.
That was my strategy. The reason why I stopped saving was that I looked around and the interest rates I was seeing were not favorable for the inflation rate I was seeing, so it wasn't matching up.
Okay.
And I wasn't spending a lot, so I just said, you know what, if I'm not spending so much, I think this capital should be used for something else, and it will yield faster returns or yield higher returns within a prolonged period of time. So that was what I was doing. Another thing that I was setting my money aside for was actually learning. Like, when people say, okay, invest in yourself, most times they actually mean the biggest ROI you can give for oneself is like, invest in yourself. You have an unlimited, there's no capped amount of money you can earn.
Yeah,
if you invest in real estate, you're capped to a certain level.
Yes,
you get
that's true.
Stocks, you're capped to a certain level. Like, but if you invest in yourself, like there is the amount you earn is pretty much unlimited, and it starts with like little incremental stuff. Like, it starts with saying, oh, I think I like UI UX designing, right? Or let me take a course for it. You don't have to buy a course. There's so many free courses. Like, people do a lot of free things on YouTube just for the followers and subscribers. So you can even test that out and watch a video and say, okay, I want to learn this, and see whether it's something that you're willing to pay for. Yeah. But a lot of people like jump into like paying for it, and they just figure out that this is not for me.
This is not for me. So like, just test
the waters, like YouTube videos, learn that. If that doesn't work out for you, there's so many other things that can work out. So just how do you allocate time and capital to just making yourself a better person?
I like what you mentioned, because you mentioned time as a resource. A lot of people don't see time as a resource.
Yeah.
Especially Nigerians.
That's why we come late for everything.
We come late for everything. Then there's also, for example, now in more developed countries, they pay them per hour.
Yeah.
So there's this value on my time.
Exactly.
And Nigeria, even generally, everything just shits on your time. For example, traffic. You can't explain to someone in a more developed country that you're spending 4 hours moving from one place to one place. Exactly. Meanwhile, it's the same state. It's not like you're going from Lagos to Cotonou or something like that. So time is a very valuable resource, and it's something that you should always have in mind.
Yeah, honestly. So like, what have we said so far? We said, number 1, try and see how you can fit in a budget, and which is very obvious. But like in that budget, allocate a certain amount of money that you're going to just say, you know what, out of this salary I'm earning, I'm putting in 20 to 30k aside. I can spend the 70 to 80k.
You just remove your mind from that.
I like what you said. Put it in a bank that you're not touching. Put it in a high interest savings account. Put it in an investment. Anything that you know that you will not touch. Great. That's the first step. The second step actually is like how do you think of earning more? Because as you earn more, you have more disposable income to even invest and save and spend, right? So having a plan for that is really important. And a lot of people like rush into all of these things and they don't have like a set out like roadmap for it. It's always nice because when you're ready, you're ready.
That's
like
true.
When you're ready, once you put in that CV and say I've done X, Y, Z, you're ready. Any question they're asking you, you're not babbling. Trigger. So it's so cool when you get to that point. The third one is like, how do you constantly invest time and resources into yourself? Like every month you need to just be thinking.
This is more tied to the anymore because that's the end goal to end more.
But like people should just try and see how allocating the time and resources for that is really important, because at the end of the day, the skills you have is a reflection of the time and resources that you've taken out, you put into yourself. So it's a really big deal for anyone, like especially like if you're really young in the space.
Yeah, that's true. And just in addition to what you said about earning more time and resources, is a lot of everybody's talking about tech now. Yeah. But it's a very industry dependent thing. So depending on the industry that you want to get into, you have to spend more time and resources. If you want to be an OAP, you have to work on your accent, you have to work on your conversation skills, you need to pick up books, things like that. So let it not just be like everything now is tech, because that's the direction that everyone is moving now. So in addition to ways of combating SACPA, another thing you have to be mindful of, I talked about impulse buying before. So the solution to that is you need to have impulse control. So it's two things. The reason why you have impulse buying is because you have something that is triggering you. Everyone has their triggers. For some people, if they smell soup from somewhere, they have to locate. I have a friend like that. If he smells soup smelling, he has to go downstairs or he has to locate that place that they're sending food and go and buy. And if you can, maybe someone's house, you go and buy food just to save that craving. So for everyone, it's different. For some people, your trigger is that, immediately you come back, you're tired, and no matter what it is, you must just eat. For some people, is late night, when you're up at night, you see some people tweeting on Twitter that, I just finished mixing about 2 a.m. So everyone has their own trigger. For someone like me, at a point, I don't know if you can remember, but there was a point where I was always buying Spark.
Yeah.
I was always buying Spark.
And you used to find the best Spark.
The day I knew it was bad, there was this Spark place I passed. I fought the impulse that, I'm not going to buy it. I walked all the way to the bus stop and
he had to go back.
I went back. I went back to buy it, and I was just looking at myself that
they don't cash you.
See, they are not doing just for me like this. So you need to understand what your trigger is, because that's where the impulse comes. For some people, once you see a shoe, there's nothing nobody wants to tell you.
Yeah.
If you need to sell out your space, you sell out just to buy that shoe. So understand your triggers and move accordingly. So in addition to that, in dealing with impulse buying, another thing you should always, especially for online purchases, for example, you see a shoe, you know all those screenshots you have, or all those, I think Instagram you can save posts.
Yeah, you can.
So all those lists you have, all the shoes on your shoe collection, bag collection, all that, delay your purchase. The thing is that once you see it and it's like the only thing on your mind, the moment you can delay it, maybe like 1 or 2 days, you begin to ask yourself that, do I really need this thing?
Yeah.
But in that moment, it's like, if I don't have this thing, my liver is going to wither or my heart is going to fall. So that's something you should always be very mindful of. And then this is another point now, so because I'm done with the impulse buying thing. So in conclusion for the impulse buying, so know your triggers and also delay your purchases, especially in this time of online buying and all. Another thing that is another point for dealing with SAPA or combating SAPA, another point is that you must, it's not you should, you must track your expenses. The reason why a lot of times we look back and I'm like, where did all the money go to? It's because you were not tracking your expenses.
Definitely.
It's the little thing. Is that Uber ride you forgot
Guy.
that day? Is that earpiece you bought on the road for 1.5? Like, it's the small things that add up. But because you don't track it, you don't know. So there are many ways of tracking it. If you're an old school person, you could probably write it down. But now there are apps for that. Some banking apps, I think they have a feature whereby you can like write the description. But because most of us have at least 2 banking apps, so there are also, I think there's Wallet. There's not Wallet Africa, not the. There's a wallet. There's an app called Wallet. So you can use. I was using that at the point.
We can add that to the description. Yeah. The app.
The link for the app. Yeah. I know about Wallet. I know about. I can't remember anymore. Second, but we'll just add the list of those apps. So you can in those apps you can write like a category. Then you can write what exactly it is that you paid for. Then you can put amount. So so at the end of the month you can now really look and say, I spent money here, I spent money. And by tracking it, you begin to see all the unnecessary things, or the things that you overpaid for that month. So do you have any other thing to add?
Yeah, I think you're really spot on with the aspect of the knowing your triggers. Like, that's another thing to like take home. Like, just understanding who you are and knowing those triggers. But I think everything we've sort of helped people understand what SAPA is, understand how to spend money faster, and understand what to do to avoid that situation ever happening again. So we've helped you. So help us. Help us by subscribing
and sharing to other people.
As well.
With information.
Before we round up, I just wanted to say that this episode is sponsored by Kebble, right? So what is Kebble? Kebble is a platform that makes real estate investing affordable. So you can own a share of a building, of an apartment, and you earn from the sale of that property. Yeah, we've actually funded over 16 buildings so far, right? We've paid over 100,000 USD in dividends, and we would want you to build your wealth, or if you're thinking of building your wealth and you're thinking of a stable and reliable way,
paying yourself first, Kebble is the right platform for you, right? It's www.keble.co. Simple, right? That's the platform. You just click on it and it's very easy to sign up. KYC is really cool. You can start investing today, right? And start building yourself and paying yourself first. Yes. So, Toby, any last words for today's episode? Any last words? I think in conclusion, just you have to be because SAPA is very mindful of you, so you have to be very mindful of SAPA too. SAPA is coming for you.
Be mindful of
SAPA. So another thing that just popped to my mind, just as we're rounding up, is that you need to also look out for deals and bonuses, especially in things that are very, very essential. For example, if you know a gas station that is selling gas cheaper, or you know somewhere you can, maybe a new spot your friend just introduced you that is cheaper to get food from. I'm talking about book out, no eating out. So, or maybe like a data plan. Data plans,
guys.
Data plans free. Always. That's a constant K on every young Nigerian's wallet or money. It's something that also, if you can find a good data plan, or just look around. Or one thing that I always do is I always ask people. I just be like, do you know anybody that is doing 20 naira for 5 gig? I can just say it doesn't exist yet. But I'm always asking people like, do you know anybody that is, because all of us know how much we are spending on data, and we are in an age where you can't just say, I will stay without data. And the thing is that the way they build these apps, they don't care about the fact that, because in developed countries you pay a certain charge and you're getting unlimited data, but in Nigeria everything is limited. You're buying a particular bundle. So they are not making these apps in such a way that they are considering you. They are considering people that have unlimited. For example, now Instagram uses the highest resolution of videos. Maybe they might reduce it more, but it's not is not so small that it won't have significant damage on your data balance. So that's something that you have to be very mindful. So just look out for bonuses where you can find ways to cut costs. I'm not sure of any Nigerian channel that focuses on this or any social media, but since we have mentioned it now, Kev will also.
Yes.
Yeah, so we also with time maybe if we see something during the week, we can put it on our podcast that okay, this is the cheapest data plan now, and then continue with our topic. So that's just that. So just be very mindful of Sapa because Sapa is very mindful of you. So
what a way to end today's episode. Be mindful of Sapa because Sapa is mindful of you. You guys take care of yourself and see you in the next podcast. Bye.
Bye.